I am Sonic Prime.
Now, some of you may think that I'm making Sonic videos because it means I can buy some Sonic merch and write it off as a tax expense. But that's ridiculous. I'm making this video because Sonic is in a new era. We are entering a renaissance for Sonic. And now, I want to see my OTP argue with each other. You know, it's a bit of a shame how Shadow's character was really reinvented, and by that I mean downgraded after a few reboots actually, where now we only see him to be the edgy sad boy who listens to Corpse Husband too much, when prior he had real character, like more of an anti-hero. Now, hopefully with season 2 of Prime, we'll get to see the writers tackle making Shadow into an actual character again, and we see everything through Shadow's perspective in a quick montage. Honestly, with Sonic being so self-centered and headstrong in this series, I think I gotta pick Shadow's side. Maybe Sonic just needs some sense knocked into him, literally. So, their home doesn't exist, and Shadow is grumpy, because that's like a major bummer, bro. Sonic feels bad because everything he did was bad, and now they're gonna team up like true like true buddies. Shadow says that running fast thins the veil of the void, like the Flash and the Speed Force, I guess. Honestly, we could just rip a lot of concepts from the Flash and put into Sonic. The Flash has a lot of good ideas. Also, there's a weird black void that's mega scary and looks like bad news. You know what this show does right? Sonic is in an awkward stage where it's clearly made for kids, but the fans are also largely adults. And trying to find that happy medium between a good kids show that's also got some edgy seriousness that we want is hard. But this show is doing a solid job. So there's this ghost prism where they gotta bring all them shards, gotta do some fetch quests and bring it back to home base.
Your turn is over. I'm taking the tech and I'm going after the shards myself.
Well, that team up lasted all of 5 minutes. Shadow shows how superior he is by taking all of Nine's tech off of Sonic's kicks and gloves.
Come at me, bro! Nah, I'm good.
Okay, Shadow's the main character now. I hope this goes better than last time. But don't worry, Sonic learned how to use the Speed Force, so he can just cardio his way through realities. You thought we were just going to have this fight end quickly? Nah, we're actually making Shadow a proper anti-hero, and I love it. Same goal, different methods. Amazing. Oh yeah, the not Eggman Empire family learned how to get through realities also.
I'll take my tech back.
I guess Shadow just can't be the main character without his pump action pew pew.
You must really hate having to admit you need me.
You need me.
Okay, them being boyfriends was supposed to be a joke, but now I'm not sure. You wanna know what's smart about the Chaos Council? There's some fans that don't like it when the villain isn't Eggman. But we can't just always have Eggman, he gets stale. I mean, we don't get rid of him, but we need to take a break from him every once in a while. So their solution? They made the bad guys different from Eggman, but they're still Eggman. Multiverses are incredibly convenient plot devices, aren't they? Also, Nine upgrades the tech so they can communicate with each other. Sonic gets shard number 1 and dips out of there. Just kidding, he screws everything up and now the Chaos Council has it. Pause. If Sonic can go through realities with just his speed, why doesn't he give the Nine's tech to Shadow then? Because Shadow can't do that, so that way they would both be able to go into these realities and help each other. I'm pretty sure that's how they explained it. What I love is how we're seeing Sonic's greatest strength. He's really good at making friends, and we get to see how he's learning to humble himself in order for others to truly trust him. We see what's more of an origin story, not of how he became a hero, but how he became strong enough to be kind. How he learned what his true priorities are. Rusty gets ditched by the eggs, and now maybe we can see her finally actually switch sides? The hurt of betrayal makes you realize who your real friends are, and they have the pirate shard.
She's loyal to her beloved council.
That was before they deserted me.
Gosh, wasn't season 1 really cool with how we went to all those new worlds and each character had all new models? Well, that was a lot of work, so we gotta reuse those assets for season 2.
You're gonna turn, right, Dread?
Actually, a fun tactic pirates may have used is that the pirate ship that has the more mass or the more weight, that's bigger, if they were out of cannonballs, or just stuff to throw at the enemy, they would, if they had the opportunity, they would just ram into the smaller boat because they knew the short-term damage of ramming into them and ending the fight quick is better than the long-term damage of drawing out the fight. I like pirates. Dreadlocks convinces everyone that Sonic betrayed them so that Sonic could get the shard for himself, when really Dreadlocks is lying so his crew will take the shard from Sonic so he can have it.
He's a traitor, me crew.
So Sonic bounces. Okay, I'm no genius, but why wouldn't they just let the Chaos Council get all of the gems and then steal them all at the end like bad guys do? Just use a bad guy tactic, but for the good guys. Let the bad guys do the work for you. I mean, I guess they're messing with their friends in the other dimension, so I guess that's not good. Wow, Shadow is actually sort of kind of doing something. He's been absent for a few episodes. I thought the writers forgot about him. Once again, we see Sonic prioritize what actually matters and shows everyone that he does care about them, thus convincing everyone that he isn't the same old selfish jerkwad he once was. You know, I see a lot of shows that focus on the quote-unquote power of friendship, but I don't see a lot of shows that focus on the power of being a friend. And it's a little hard to differentiate the two because they're both so similar, but this show makes it obvious, and I really appreciate that. It's the same friendship stuff that we see in a bunch of shows, but it's from a different perspective, so it's not unbearable like it usually is. Once again, bad guy gets shard.
If the council acquires all the shards, total annihilation is inevitable.
Oh, well, I guess my idea of letting them get the shards isn't a great idea. Also, Dread is on board the egg ship.
This be more than I bargained for! Dread?
Bro, you can glide. How did you just forget that? The council is using the shards to make magic bubble gum that turns robots bigger.
If looks could kill, am I right?
You're so funny, Sonic! Whoa! Jeez! Watch your language!
You.
Oh my god! It's
Sonic Prime.
I didn't actually think I'd see Metal Sonic! Or an alternate world Metal Sonic, whatever it is. If you'll excuse me, I need to go fangirl. How do you feel about this new Metal Sonic? Because I think it's a solid step below regular Metal Sonic. I just can't get used to the iPhone screen face, you know?
It's a fur bag!
Oh, okay. This is not actually Metal Sonic, is it?
The name is Chaos Sonic.
You're giving off try-hard energy. Tell me, what do you think is an even greater sin? Changing Metal Sonic or changing Shadow? Clearly the writers were smart enough not to change either.
Basic, you'll never beat me. You're too slow.
He said it! He said the thing! The eggs start using the shards to just manifest an empire across the Shatterverse. What we don't get to see too often anymore is proper action cartoons. That was a solid attempt back in the 2010s, but they all really failed since it was difficult to justify it on regular TV broadcasting. But now that we have streaming, we have the advantage of making smaller, condensed seasons that can focus on high production quality and still thrive. 9 breaks out so he can stop the eggs from breaking down space-time. 9 does a smart boy move and uses the shards to laser beam the iPad robot, and then they have a little bro moment because they're besties. Mirror match! You know, they did a lot of advertising around this season focusing on Shadow, but he's doing nothing. I feel lied to. I wanted to see Shadow. He was in the first episode, and then he was barely in any of the others. He was in maybe 3 episodes in total. That's less than half of the season. I guess they wanted to make us think it's gonna focus on Shadow so they can have the reveal of iPad Sonic be big and cool and surprising, but like, you sidelined Shadow. Anyway, Sonic speed forces his way into Shatter space. Oh, hey, speak of the devil, it's about time you showed up. There's this ghost version of Green Hill Zone, and apparently bringing the shards here will fix everything, but Shadow doesn't trust 9 because he thinks 9 is sketch as heck. We finally get to see them team up. You just had to wait until the final episode. Like, jeez. I mean, yay. I guess they didn't really lie technically, but gosh, this isn't exactly what I wanted.
Probably gonna regret that.
I heart you too, Shadow.
Okay. So they are boyfriends.
Your turn.
Behold, the map.
What? Oh my gosh, that got through QA. I hope the team doesn't get flack for this.
The Chaos Council is using shard energy to make themselves tougher than ever.
Maybe I can do the same.
Oh.
Daddy wants his shards.
I'd like to personally request the writers never have him say daddy again. Sonic gets blasted with shard energy. Now he's 3D. Now, not what I was hoping, but I guess this is fine. I keep getting my hopes up, I guess. Final boss time! We summon Egg Prime! The closest thing we'll get to Super Eggman. This is a weird turn of events. Why did they decide to do this? There's a lot of other routes they could have taken that would have been cooler than Neon Mountain Dew Eggman. We juice up Sonic with more Prism Punch, and now Sonic gets full Gamers Mode. He's got the Mountain Dew powers to rival Neon Titan Eggman, and with his Gamer Mode activated, he manages to beat the boss. There's one shard left, and they don't have it, and 9 is telling him that he doesn't actually care about bringing back Sonic's old world, but he'd rather make a new and better world. And so 9 straight up proving Shadow is right. They aren't actually besties. They're the opposite of besties. They're whatever the word for the opposite of besties is. And then 9 undoes all their work and takes all their shards. But you know what that means? We're getting another season! Well, that was weird. Gotta admit, I'm not entirely like upset. I mean, that was a fun season. It was misleading, but we're getting more Sonic, so I'm happy. The decisions they made were strange. But I guess Neon Mountain Dew Eggman isn't the real final boss, so I guess we're okay. They're saving the actual cool final boss for the finale. Shadow, do you mind? I'm working. Do you mind? Can you not? Can you please just stop? Shadow was underutilized. I'm really hoping he has a bigger impact next season. iPad Sonic was, well, he was annoying. I guess they were intentionally trying to make sure that this was nothing like Metal Sonic so that you just could not get them confused. I guess I can't be upset with them. If they made a ripoff Metal Sonic, I'd be even more upset. All in all, I am very neutral about this season. I feel like they could have done better, but I'm not sure how. Other than having Shadow be more relevant to the plot. And it's weird how I can't really inject any criticism into these minor things, especially since that's kind of my job. But at least I have another excuse to buy more Sonic merch. So I'm okay. This is a great idea. Let's just keep an infinite amount of Sonic seasons going. Just constant Sonic content. Honestly, wait, no. Besides the joke of Sonic merch, that is actually a great, I want more Sonic content really bad. But what do you think of season 2 of Sonic Prime? Tell me in the comments below. Are you upset for this season being what it is? I think the twist of 9 being the bad guy is really the only positive I can really say about this season. Everything else was just like, wow, cool action scenes, I guess. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay beautiful and keep playing.